Taurus, the bull. Here's your reading for November 2017. As usual, guys, this is a general reading. So the energies and messages here can either be coming to you or be coming directly from you. All the messages here will not resonate completely with your unique situation, nor are they all meant to. So if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Go ahead and see the description box to book a private reading for yourself. All right, let's go ahead and bless the decks and we'll get started. Guardian angels of love and light, ancestors lost and known in the seas of time, please intercede this reading to provide Taurus with the clarity and direction as to which he or she seeks, and please grant me, the reader, the objectivity to read the cards and relay every single message as they are meant and or intended to be. So Taurus, so I was shuffling the Jesus deck, this card flew out. Like did a whole 360 on the floor and the whole works, and I feel like it's really important, and I don't really know why, but I'm going to feel it anyway. Knock and it shall be opened unto you, Matthew 7:7. Okay, Taurus, we're coming into the reading with the Four of Cups reversed. Put this here for now. We'll come back to it. All right, Taurus. So let me explain the card positions to you here, or just the general general spread, right? So here we have the heart of the matter, and around the circumference here. I haven't seen all of these cards yet, so we're going to go super intuitive pretty much this month. And these are like the outside stimuli that kind of is brought into your environment. And these cards here kind of maybe solidify these outside stimuli. That's just a general overview. I'm just going to go ahead and go with it and see what comes out. But in traditional tarot, Queen of Cups, Empress reverse, Six of Pentacles, and the Emperor. So right off the bat, you maybe could be dealing with an Aries. You could possibly be dealing with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. All right. So Taurus, I kind of feel coming into the reading with the Four of Cups reversed here, kind of feel as though, Taurus, you may be feeling like you possibly missed an opportunity, or maybe you didn't see an opportunity. Maybe you failed to actually achieve it. I'm feeling, Taurus, right off the bat here, just from the heart of the matter here, what I'm picking up is this was a chance, Taurus, for you to express your emotional side. And I feel as though, Taurus, you kind of wanted to, but I want to say that you maybe feel, or you felt like you didn't have the opening, or you misjudged the opening. I feel as though you didn't see the opening, or you didn't maybe expect an opening. And I feel as though that with the Six of Pentacles here, you gave to the situation in the way that you usually do, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. But I feel, Taurus, like you gave to the situation in terms of what was comfortable, in terms of what is known, what you have known, And I feel as though you were feeling like you kind of wanted to switch it up and maybe expose your vulnerable side a little bit. But I feel like you kind of were a little bit afraid to. And what ended up happening was maybe you missed your chance, to kind of do that. And I also feel that this is a learning experience for you as well. as to why sometimes, why being a fixed earth sign does serve, it has its pros for sure. It does. But I feel, Taurus, that sometimes being a fixed earth sign, whether it's your sun, moon, or rising, or Venus, or Mercury, whatever the case may be for you today, I feel as though you stuck with what was comfortable, and you possibly maybe missed a really good thing. And remember, this is general, guys, so you can either be doing this or someone in your environment can bring this to you, so apply it to your unique situation today. But there was an opening, Taurus. But I really feel like you were a little bit frightened. You psyched yourself out, Taurus, I feel. And me being a fellow earth sign, sun, sometimes we can trip ourselves up, and we can sometimes have a bad habit of not getting out of our own way sometimes, and sometimes we can get caught up in our thoughts a little bit in terms of we're going to do what's comfortable, we're going to do what has always worked, we're going to stick to the plan, we're going to stick to not yielding to uncomfortability, which I know for you, Taurus, and for any earth sign, that's like, what? Hell no. Like, you know what I mean? But I feel like you're a little bit regretful of this. I think you're coming to terms with it, saying like, damn it, I should have just given a little bit more. I should have just been a little bit more honest. I should have been a little bit more vulnerable. That's kind of what I'm picking up initially from the reading here. Well, let's flip the cards over. Let's see. Excuse me. Queen of Swords reverse. Page of Cups. Three of Wands. Ten of Swords reversed. Interesting. Okay, so if we go over here for a minute. Was there honesty, Taurus? Not necessarily maybe with the other party. It could involve the other party. But I feel, were you honest? Did you really want to express yourself? Was there open, honest communication? Because maybe there wasn't, Taurus. Since this is general, I'm going to throw as much as I can out there. But I feel maybe there wasn't. And also, Taurus, I'm kind of picking up that because maybe you felt a fear of doing this, or because it was walking into the unknown, not, diverging from the norm for you, you may have not really understood how to deal with it or maybe approach the issue. And I feel as though there was some frustration that was going on with you. Kind of like you were saying, why can't I do this? Like, my God, like, it's not that hard. Like, Taurus, being hard on yourself. And I feel as though that subconsciously you kind of kept it to yourself in terms of that inner struggle. And maybe it came out in the relationship or in the partnership or in the circumstance for you, whatever the case may be for you today. And I feel as though the other party kind of saw you as edgy, kind of being on edge, when the second party didn't even realize it had nothing to really do with them, And I want to say that you didn't express it, but I don't feel like it was information being withheld from you, like in a malicious way or with a motive. It was just something you were dealing with yourself, and it was something that you were trying to come to terms with. But I feel, Taurus, back to what I'm saying about you chose maybe fear over faith, And it's interesting that the Page of Cups is here right on top with the Queen of Cups, It's kind of beginning to understand how you can express yourself, beginning to understand how you can, or how it's okay and how it's healthy, given that the dynamics are fair, they're reciprocal, everything is set up in terms of honesty, just in general as a foundation, that it's okay to want more from the other person. It's okay to confide in the other person or the other party, circumstance, for whatever it is for you today, that it's all right to do that sometimes. And I believe, Taurus, that with the Empress reverse here, it's not being able to create what you wanted to. It was not being able to do those things that you normally should have done. Once again, solidifying my notion of the fear. But I don't say fear as in like you were just like completely filled with trepidation. I'm just saying the fear of walking into the unknown. But I feel as though from this experience, you learn that it's okay. And also, I feel, Taurus, like you didn't really maybe lose completely. That you learned a little bit about yourself, and you learned a little bit about maybe your shadow side in terms of your apprehension for maybe the basic emotions of a human or of yourself. And I can really feel, I can sense or pick up you beating yourself up for this a little bit. But Taurus, you're going to have to forgive yourself. Yeah, you may have felt like you missed out on an opportunity, but you learned something along the way, I feel. So let's just take this as a learning curve or learning experience, and let's not repeat this, you know? And I feel if this person or the circumstance is no longer around, once, let me just say I'm, dreadfully sorry for that. Excuse me. But take this time, of being in solitude a little bit and go over with yourself. I don't know why I'm picking up, Taurus, your dreams. Record your dreams the minute you wake up. Write it down, even have an app on your phone where you can speak to it, and you can record your voice. And the minute you wake up, record everything that happened in the dream. And I feel like record the profound dreams and revisit them, throughout maybe monthly, and see what you can find in terms of maybe some clues in terms of what prevented you from being emotionally vulnerable, which I understand, Taurus, it's tough, for sure. I mean, it's not a comfortable thing for everyone, but the more we practice at it, the more that we can possibly master it. And we must have trust in ourselves that regardless if the other party or the other situation doesn't accept it or they're dismissing of it, that you came with honesty and you can bounce back from it because you have you and you trust in yourself. I feel like that's what's kind of going on here a little bit. If we move over to this side here, back to me saying or coming up with the notion that it was a plan, like you really put it into play, like you really wanted to do it. But at the last minute, I feel as though, Taurus, you kind of pulled back. And with the Ten of Swords here reversed, I feel like I sometimes look at this card as being theatrics. You kind of brushed it off your shoulder and you were like, okay, I'm gonna act accordingly to how I usually do. Like, I'm gonna maybe, I don't know why I'm picking up, Taurus, maybe make this person see that you weren't trying so hard and maybe that adversely affected you. That could be it too, I'm picking up on. And it's interesting that the Six of Pentacles is here with the Three of Wands and the Ten of Swords reverse. And I look at this, Taurus, as being, what did you give to the situation? Did you give to the actual plan to see your ships come in, or did you give to the theatrics? Which one did you choose? I have a feeling, Taurus, that it was maybe the theatrics a little bit. When I say theatrics, I mean putting on the front, maybe to be a little bit mysterious, or maybe just being a tactic to maybe remain a little interesting, just trying to put your suave on. But I feel like it adversely affected you this time, and it was kind of the missed opportunity came. And it was like, damn, But I feel, Taurus, that if this person or circumstance is no longer around, if they're meant to come back, they will. I know that sounds very cliche to say something like that, but I do feel like all hope isn't lost. And I feel as though if you maybe reach out, once again, diverge from the comfortability of the comfortableness or the norm for you. Throw a little like Uranus in your swag, I feel. Be a little bit rebellious in terms of what you normally do. Be a little radical. You know, use that fixed ambition, that fixed sign that you are, in terms of upholding what you believe and being fixed on certain situations. Use that ambition towards transforming yourself and then reaching out and saying, you know what, and being honest and say, you know what, I did what I did and it wasn't right, and you know, and try and rectify the issue. And you never know. It's the beginning stages of understanding your emotions, and if they don't, you know, reciprocate it, or if they don't take it in, you know that you grew as a person. Because I can see you did try to solidify the norm, because it's what works. You try to protect your stability because security is important to you. But this time it was a surprise. You know, it took a little bit of a turn. It went a little awry. And I feel like you didn't expect it to a little bit. Temperance reverse. Excuse me. 7 of Cups reverse. I mean, yeah, Taurus, you know, going back to what did you create? What type of environment did you create? Did you create an open environment in terms of understanding the emotion and it actually building and you learning from it? Or did you create that boldness that I'm not going to yield, I'm frustrated, so therefore I'm going to walk around with this certain type of aura or certain type of vibe where people can possibly get turned off from it when it really has nothing to do with them, but they don't see that because it's a lack of communication, you know, proper communication in terms of how you're feeling. Going kind of back to the emotion, avoiding the emotion, avoiding something different, being vulnerable. And I feel like with temperance here, it's all about moderation. It's all about being vulnerable. It's all about listening to your higher self, listening to your spirit guides, listening to your intuition, and using it to your best benefit, you know, in an appropriate manner. Because it's all about moderation, Taurus. You can give a little, you know, so you can become comfortable with it, but then it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give it all, because that's kind of scary, you know, like that's, you know, uncomfortable for anyone to have to go or deal with. Don't get caught up in your thoughts so much, Taurus, where it prevents your true self or your true feelings from coming out. And I believe that that's why temperance reverses here. You could be dealing with the Sagittarius possibly. Going over here, making the decision to ride with a decision, right? Making a choice upon a, you know, deciding upon a choice, I'm sorry. But where do we give to? Back to that idea, I feel here. And I don't want to keep preaching about the same thing, but I feel like this is kind of what it is. What did you give to? And I really feel like you think, or you thought that you made the right decision, but you kind of did, because I feel like you learned from this experience as well. So it wasn't at a complete loss. But when we try to avoid being vulnerable and avoid the emotion and explaining to people how we feel, we end up with this type of energy here. You could maybe be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius as well. But I just feel, Taurus, that you know, the theatrics kind of took over a little bit, and that facade kind of didn't really work in your favor at this point in time. Because it does serve you, don't get me wrong, you know. It does, but just this time it didn't. It's okay. It's alright. It's a learning curve. 4 of Cups reversed. That's how you came into the reading. Once again, the missed opportunity, not wanting to be vulnerable, kind of missing the whole idea, the whole cup idea of what's in each cup. What can you offer in each cup? Also choosing the right cup. The 9 of Cups reversed. You know, Taurus, I look at the 9 of Cups reversed as being not emotionally honest with yourself, not being emotionally stable with yourself. And therefore, it's kind of hard to give that to someone else. And it's not that you're withholding information or you're not coming across as genuine. But it begins with you. You have to be comfortable with yourself and your emotions, and it's a process, you know. It doesn't happen overnight. But it begins with you. You need to be the change that you require, so you can give yourself that much more honestly to other people. And in turn, you can make yourself happy from being a little radical, you know, just saying, YOLO, I'm gonna go for it. The moderation, you know. Then you have the World card reversed here. Things not going in your favor. A cycle not being broken, a karmic cycle not being broken, because staying with that fixed energy. Not wanting to change things up for yourself, not wanting to look at things from a different perspective. But I feel that this karmic cycle will be broken, Taurus, but it's going to take a lot on your end to be honest with yourself and to actually understand why you feel like you can't be vulnerable even when you choose to want to be. You know, there's a difference between being vulnerable and maybe someone getting it out of you, but if you choose deliberately not to be, that's a choice in itself, and you need to understand the root of that. Where does it exist? Why the apprehension? Why the deterrence away from actually trying something new? And then if you lose something from it, that really should make you kind of revisit it and see where it went wrong. Because if we don't break the cycle, we don't understand the root of it, it's going to continue to move forward as so, and nothing will kind of change, and we'll continue to be like the World card reverse, where things don't move in our favor and karmic cycles aren't broken. The last card here, Queen of Pentacles reverse. You don't feel stable in your environment anymore because you felt like you lost some type of stability, and it could be the person, it could be the situation. I feel like it's more of loss of stability in terms of understanding yourself. You feel like you lost a good thing, you know? Reminds me of that song, I think it's Barbara Mason. If you should lose me, oh yeah, you'll lose a good thing. Kind of like that, you know, in a sense. You also could be dealing maybe with another earth sign, Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. But I just feel like it's time to break that karmic cycle so you don't end up feeling like the Queen of Pentacles reversed, where you feel like you can't uphold what's in your environment and feel comfortable about what's in your environment. All right, Taurus, let's go ahead and pull a Jesus card. Let's see what's going on for you. Your faith hath served you, go in peace, Luke 7:50. I feel, Taurus, that this is here for a specific reason. It's here because this card popped for a reason, Taurus. It's here to show you that your faith has a lot to do with the situation. Sorry guys, it's a little blurry here. There we go. That your faith has a lot to do with the situation, and your faith and what is included in your faith, or the substances, or the amalgamous pieces of your faith that they make up if things move in your favor, if they don't. And it's kind of like, don't be your worst critic and your worst enemy. And I feel like when it says to go in peace, I feel, Taurus, it's kind of like go in peace with learning from this. Go in peace with knowing about the moderation. Go in peace in terms of maybe making the wrong decision, or not making a decision at all. That could be it too. I want to pull this top card here. Come unto me, all that you labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. So I feel that this is here to trust something that's bigger than you, Taurus. That it's meant to, sometimes it's okay to be radical and to be a little bit rebellious, and especially if it constitutes an appropriate gain at the end. It's okay. Sometimes rules are meant to be broken, because then we see where they're weak, where they're we can see, right, where their thresholds are weak and where they snap, and we can then build upon that and make it stronger and maybe fortify it a little bit more, or fortify it enough to withstand more resistance. But I feel as though it's time, Taurus, not only to give it all that you harbor in terms of your emotions and that not wanting to be vulnerable, not wanting to confide in other people, not only give it to your spirit guides, or to give it to God or who or whatever it is that you confide in, but to also give it to another person. You know, let them heal you. Let I'm kind of picking up, Taurus, like sometimes we can find wisdom in the most unlikely places. And it's all about taking a chance sometimes. Because then if it's successful, you can then add that to your environment and solidify it even more. And then you won't feel so uncomfortable about certain things. And you'll be able to understand it more. And then you actually be able to see your ships come in. You'll turn the theatrics off. And you understand your emotions. And you understand that how important it is to be emotionally open with people, especially if it's a partnership. Even a relationship, any kind of ship takes trust and vulnerability. It's a requirement. It's a must. You can't get around it. You know, it's all about the moderation and having that idea that sometimes we have to do things that are uncomfortable for us. All right, Taurus, I think that concludes your reading. Check out Luke 7, Matthew 11. I'm being told to do this. Okay, yeah, you see. Forgive and you shall be forgiven, Luke 6:37. Forgive yourself, Taurus, so that you can be more honest with other people. Because I feel, Taurus, that's what I was kind of going at, was there's a root to it. You're going to have to find that root and work on it. It's going to be a journey, and it's not going to happen overnight. But come to terms with it. You're never going to solve it, but you're going to learn to cope with it. And ironically enough, Taurus, you know, going back to the Jesus card that popped out that I showed you at the beginning, knocking it shall be open. When you want something, you can receive it. But you're going to have to know that you deserve it. And knock at the door, and it'll be open, Taurus. Just got to knock, and you have to know that you need it and you want it and that you deserve it. All right, so in conjunction with checking out Matthew 11 and Luke 7, check out Luke 6. Also, Taurus, if you'd like to book a private reading when you're on the website, you know, checking it out, there's a chat bubble at the bottom right-hand side. It's either green or blue. If you see a little red dot on top of that, green or blue. Let me start that over. What is wrong with me? I cannot speak today. When you visit the website, on the bottom right-hand side, there's going to be a chat bubble. It's either going to be green or blue. If you see a red dot on top of that chat bubble, it's just me trying to communicate with you, check in with you, making sure that you're finding everything okay. I would like to suggest the best service that I can offer for you. Also, I can answer any questions there, and you can get to know each other a little bit more, you know? You can feel a little bit more comfortable with booking a reading for yourself. And I suggest that you do, Taurus, so we can look at the roots of this. You know, where does it come from? Where does it stem from? Because that's what it's all about, is finding the root. Okay, Taurus, I'll let you go. It's okay, don't beat yourself up. Just forgive yourself, and then you'll be able to forgive those who wrongfully trespassed against you, or that you may be wrongfully trespassed against, you know? Okay, Taurus, let you go. Have faith in the process. We'll see you.